So, thank you for your patience. We had a couple of technical problems. So this presentation might be a little bit different than I imagined it would be. Well, welcome in my session about incubation, or better maybe of letting go and, go with what is. So we had a little practice already. My name is Monique van Hest, and I'm working at Fontys Academy for the Creative Economy in the Netherlands as a teacher and coach for design thinking and transmedia storytelling, among other things. And next to this, I was involved at a research center designing the future. And for this, we went to look into stillness and slowing down. And it was really funny to see what our teachers and students said about it. But before I go there, I just want to check with you. How many of you take the time during a very busy day, full of deadlines? You know that stack of work that's waiting for you? How many of you, and you can raise your hand, just leave that stack of work, that pile of work, and go outside to take a walk or maybe meditate in the middle of the day? Ah, nice. So I don't have to teach you anything. And the ones who did not raise your hand, is that because you feel guilty? Or how many of you feel guilty doing it because you have too much work, too much responsibility? I see nodding. So that was when we asked the question to our students and lecturers to find out, okay, what is it? What do they need in order to be silent, to find themselves again? We asked them two questions. A colleague of mine said, the first question was, what does doing nothing look like to you? So what is that for you? And the second question was, what does a place look like where you can do nothing, where you're able to do nothing? So you might recognize some of the answers they give. They said reading. Reading. It's kind of an activity, but still that felt as doing nothing because it was not work. Meditating. Yoga was also an answer they gave. Walking, preferably in nature, but it could also be in the city. Taking a bath, that's where the good ideas come. Feeling relaxed. It's doing nothing when you feel relaxed. Gardening, being outside and taking care of the plants to let your mind wander. Being by myself, but also doing nothing is something I do for myself was the idea. And when we said, okay, what is the place where you can do nothing? Just like hanging in a hammock. It's really you can be in a cocoon, so you can really be by yourself. In the garden, of course, doing the gardening, or maybe just sitting in a chair and looking at the plants or looking in front of you. Going to the shore, hear the sea rush. Being at home. Nature. Nature was very, very, very popular as a place to do nothing, and especially in the forest and the sea were mentioned. So I think many of you might recognize this. There were some more answers. But what struck me when I heard their answers was that a lot of people said, I cannot do nothing. I'm not capable of doing that. I cannot sit still. I have too many responsibilities. I have children. I can't take that time for myself. And while they said that, they also recognized that they should do more. They should do nothing more because they know it's important for their creativity. Incubation is a very important aspect of creativity. So we know that. We know this for many years. Philosophers thousands of years ago already emphasized the importance of the in-between time. Plato, for instance, also said that schola, or scholat sein, was one of the most important aspects of the learning process. And if you see that our word school is derivative of schola or scholat sein, and it means stillness or doing nothing, then I think, what went wrong? Or better yet, how can we make sure that Schoolsuitsign will get a place back into our curricula? The last couple of years, this thought came back to me and with my colleagues very strongly because of COVID regulations. When we had a lockdown, I saw our colleagues, the lecturers, running as fast as they could to change every program they had to make sure that it could go online and that the students were catered for, that they're being heard. So everybody was running, and forgot about this quote of Mozart, that the music is not in the notes, but in the silence between. They didn't take the time anymore to sit down and to have a break, to sit down and listen to their inner voices of what they might need. They just ran because everything had to go on as usual, but it wasn't the situation as usual. So what we decided with my colleagues, we really felt the need, the urgency to make it clear that we had to break with this go, go, go mentality without slowing down. We had to talk to each other and not have all our, we have to recognize that we didn't know the answers yet. So we had a lot of conversations about this. And inspired by the book of Jenny Odell, How to Do Nothing, I don't know if you have read it. In How to Do Nothing, Jenny Odell writes about the importance as well of standing still, listening, paying attention to the surroundings. And she talks about a rose garden in her book. And inspired by that rose garden, my colleagues and I, we started our own rose garden. It was an online rose garden where we had weekly meetings and we discussed with each other about the situation, what was going on. And sometimes we just said nothing. Mind you, it was an online environment where we were in a team meeting and we were quiet. Nobody said a word. Nobody had the urge to talk. And it was okay. And it made our minds free, and we really were thankful for these moments, and we wanted to share that with our fellow students and colleagues. So we decided we are going to make sure that they also get this incubation time. And we did it by organizing a floating festival about nothing. Well, now the letters are really floating as well, so it's fitting. And when you talk about a floating festival about nothing, of course it was not about nothing, but it was about celebrating stillness, celebrating quiet time. During 10 weeks, we had 1 hour a day in which we stopped our working clocks. We said the working clocks are stopped ticking. We are going to celebrate stillness. Between 12 and 1 o'clock, just like in a monastery, we had quiet time. It was time to be inspired, to go walking, to listen to beautiful music, to meditate, and we did it together with the whole organization. That was the plan. So we said we're not going to put out program books because we wanted to make sure that our colleagues and students were open for the unknown, for surprises. Just come in and see what happens, see what we have in store for you. And to be honest, it was also because we had a very small team. We did not have any resources, we did not have any time, so we had to do it in between our work. So we did not have that 10-week program ready, so we went to create that program on the go. So we could change it, so we planned, I think, about 2 weeks in advance. The second thing that we wanted to do was we did not set a specific day for a specific activity. So it was not that Tuesdays was meditation day, for instance, because we wanted to make sure that every student or every colleague was able to come to one of these sessions. And if you were having classes on Tuesday at 12 o'clock, you couldn't go to the meditation if we planned it like that. So it was also a floating activity. So one times it could be meditation on Tuesday, the other times it could be on Friday. And the third thing we promised to ourselves and to our colleagues is we're not going to put video recordings on. because today as well, I miss a lot of sessions, and I really have written down all the sessions I still want to see, and you get a really long to-do list. We didn't want to put that up on our colleagues because it was about doing nothing. So if you could join us, great, be welcome. But if you weren't there, you didn't miss anything. That was our idea. So then incubation could start. And what we did. We listened, we experienced the famous part of John Cage together. We had a synthesizer. I don't know if anybody of you knows what it is, but with a synthesizer, there's a lot of noise, and only if you put down, you play the music, then the silence begins. So you have to play it in order to be silent. Of course, we meditated. We did walking meditation, but also breathing meditations. Writing sessions, intuitive writing, for instance, but also writing in stillness together. We had a video, we watched a video together and talked about it, of Ellen Watts on nothingness. Deep listening sessions were organized. And sometimes we just had a session with bird sounds because you were in your own environment to bring nature in your bedroom or work room. And at other points, we just had a big picture of a quote, and we invited people to go out themselves. One of the sessions I really liked was the breathing meditation because it had only 20 minutes or something like that. And we had a 10-minute breathing session, and after that session, we were asked to go out. And I didn't have time. It was 20 minutes before my class started. Normally, I would never go out when I do have that little time, and now I went out. And it really invigorated me to walk in the rhythm of my breathing, of my inhalation. So I really got new energy because of it. Well, I thought we have to talk about results when we're in a conference. I hear a lot of goals and results in all of the sessions, but I want to say, forget about results when you want to organize something like that, because it's not about results. Don't promise yourself results, don't promise your director results, because if I look at the amount of people that joined us, then I would be very disappointed. Some sessions only had 2 visitors, but it's made us realize that we still have a long way to go. Changing a mindset does not come overnight. So there won't be hundreds of people in the room, also not with a session like this, because we have a mind that wants to go, work, we want to achieve, and we forget that sometimes you have to step back in order to make these achievements. So forget about the results. Think about the achievements of the people who do join, the benefits for the people who actually do step down and take that stillness in themselves. So we talked to the participants, and what they said was that they actually did have more breaks during the day because of the floating festival. They also said they noticed more around them. They paid more attention to their environment. That was exactly what we wanted to achieve. Next to this, they said that being in the meetings made them get new insights because of the quotes, because of going outside more. So when I look at the benefits, I think it's really successful to do nothing. And the people who joined us are our ambassadors for the next time we are going to create this. So if you think of also wanting to incubate a little bit more and bring it to your organization, find colleagues who are your ambassadors, who are your stakeholders, and who want to fight next to you. And you know them. You know the people who also think incubation is very important. You have to join forces because you can't do it alone. Make sure you're visible. We were online. We planned to do the festival offline with real hammocks in the pond where people could, just really close up for a moment, with real meditation sessions, physical, with walking sessions on the campus and beyond. That was not possible, so we couldn't also do our advertisements offline. So we had to do it online. And because everybody was online, not everybody heard our message because they had an information overload already. So make sure that if you are visible, to not only be visible with an advertisement, but talk to your colleagues, talk to students that they have to come. Make sure that they see what you're doing. And last but not least, co-create. Co-create with your colleagues and students and ask them what they do to do nothing. And even more so, what keeps them from doing nothing? Because that is where you learn, and that is where you can inspire each other to actually start to do nothing. And take that space, take the time. You don't have to wait until your director says, yes, you can do this. I mean, we're all inclined to do that. We also wanted to create space in everybody's agenda, but that wasn't possible, so we had to go underground a little bit. So make sure that you create a space and teach children to hold that space. I said this because a lot of the time we hear incubation is an individual process. It's not a group process. But I think that creating the space and taking the time and showing the importance of doing nothing, of incubation, could be a group process. We're here with a small group of people. It can start here. What if we make a pact to show that incubation is really important for our curricula? What if we say to our student that it's okay to take a moment of rest or to take a break, even if they have a lot of deadlines, that it's even good to do so? What if we stimulate them to do that in our classrooms? So go outside, do the work elsewhere. And what if we show them the importance by doing it ourselves in our everyday lives? I think that is where it can start. And I wanted to end this talk by letting you hear the reactions of the people of the research of my colleague, Eva Schmetz. It's her voice you hear. She's talking about the reactions of the people. And I would recommend you to close your eyes when listening to this.
To me, relaxing, laying, bed, couch, garden, beach, watching TV, listening, music, feel relaxed, not thinking a lot, place, mentally, finished with all my school, don't, stressful things, free from things, have. To me, meditation, before
Dagdieven,
sleep,
duimen draaien, dutten,
I,
dagdromen,
able,
vlieren
empty,
fluiten,
mind,
je tijd verdoen,
listening,
je tijd nutteloos
music,
besteden,
laying,
je
couch,
overgeven aan wat er is,
sunbathing,
lanterfanten,
meditation,
luieren, lui lakken,
forget,
lui
worries,
wamsen,
problems,
lummelen,
be in the
leeglopen,
moment,
lui
nature,
bakken,
beach,
lapswansen,
ocean,
loslaten,
nature,
mijmeren,
home,
mediteren,
feeling
mindful
relaxed,
zijn,
sofa,
me-time,
TV,
genieten,
empty your mind,
niksen,
no
op een bankje
assignments,
zitten in de
no
tuin of in
homework,
het park,
sofa,
pieren waaien, rondhangen,
home, for
ruimte
yourself,
nemen, rusten,
reflect,
stil zijn,
quiet,
slampampen,
home,
uit het raam kijken,
living room,
vrije
bedroom,
tijd,
feel,
genieten,
safest,
zwabberen,
beach, palm trees, sand, ocean, shore, sun, home, write, journal, reflect.
I hope these words inspired you to get a little bit more of incubation in your own classroom, and that you are going to join our movement to get Skolatsign back into our curricula. I want to thank you very much for being here and listening to my talk, and don't hesitate to contact me. I do have a slide about that if it works. My name is Monique van Hest. And you can scan me for LinkedIn, or you can email me at monique.vanhest@fontys.nl. Thank you very much. Questions? Yes.
Curious, like, it's a question, yeah, how do you like navigate this discomfort? Is it just the practice?
It's a really good question. We were online, so we could not really see that discomfort going on, but during our regular classes, I always try to stimulate the students to go beyond that by asking the questions to them and also to see what is keeping them from trying it. And I also think really what we are doing ourselves makes a difference, because if we do not go beyond our own discomfort, then they won't do it as well. But I would say this is really kind of like a pebble stone that you throw in the water. It takes a while before you get the bouncing going. So I think it takes a long while for them to really start experimenting with it. Thank you.
I'm curious to hear your thoughts on transforming the culture when you're in a culture that doesn't value that. I think about my own workplace. I'm kind of the oddball for being the person who wants to stop and take a break and encouraging people to do so. And my supervisors and a lot of my other employees are like, no, I have too much to do. There's no way I can. And so how do you transform a culture?
I think we need a long breath. I mean, yeah, I try to get as many ambassadors as I can, and I have to say we have a research center with a professor who is really also into this. So she is behind me, but in our case it's also difficult because I really, really wanted the whole school to have no classes between 12 and 1 o'clock. But I couldn't get that done, and I will say yet, because I'm going to keep on trying, and I'm going to keep on trying, because otherwise there will be no changes at all. And I think it is important that our supervisors realize that this kind of experiment, this thing is not without results, but you don't see the immediate results. But in the long run, it is a benefit for all. So I think that is the change we have to make. But we have to be patient, I guess. But I keep trying. A little bit of kicking. So thank you very much.